at The Rock. We'll talk about that and what it means for some players fighting for roster spots. We've got that, plus a season preview and a whole lot more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. So glad you could join us today as we talk all things New York Islanders as we head into the final weekend of the preseason with the last preseason game coming up on Saturday. I want to thank everybody for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Remember, we are free and available on all platforms. And we're so glad you are a part of Islanders family. We have got a lot to discuss on today's show. The preseason game against the Devils, originally scheduled for last night, canceled because of some power issues in Newark. The scoreboard wasn't working. Some of the lights were out. The game will not be rescheduled. We'll talk about the impact of losing that preseason game on today's show and some of the players who will be affected by the fact that they will not have this opportunity to show Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello exactly what they can do, players who are fighting for roster spots. If there's something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to talk about, feel free to email us. The email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYRVSNYI, and we'll keep you up to date all the latest Islanders news things. So the Islanders game canceled, and it was all supposed to be on MSG Plus and Islanders and Devils. Big opportunity for these players to really start focusing. The first four preseason games, they were trying to give a lot of people a chance. They were showcasing some of the younger players. We saw Corey Schneider, for example, go all the way on Tuesday and play the entire game. And again, these are players where Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello wanted to see what they could do, wanted to pair them with certain players, wanted to give them a chance to show what they had. But these last two preseason games, more focus getting ready for the release, and figured 75% of the on these and maybe personnel roster against the Reign. Is a rookie going to play the game that one priority. Ready for the start of the looking more and more Varlamov this year supposed to as well, and who really were expected to line up getting we were in Barzal, Lee, and Larry to beat the line. Last night. Again, together, getting millions, only going to be the same play together during the preseason. And I'm sure we'll again on Saturday. That extra time. You get more. You want we and better feel together in a so it really does hurt and it's going to really things stories that I may see even more than 90% on Saturday now. Certainly there's uh, one who wasn't probably is on opening day is Anatoly Golisha. And, you know, Port, him there's a problem because Port is cut for what he does with that. You pair the wins and on the it's different. One more chance cancellation today at upside. Are making up to 25 cents for every gallon of gas every time they fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now. Use promo code HOCKEY and get a 25-cent per gallon bonus on your first fill up. That's up to 50 cents per gallon cash back. Don't pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back using Upside. Just download the app for free. Use the promo code HOCKEY to get up to 50 cents per gallon cash back on your first tank. Some people who drive a lot are making as much as $200 to $300 a month in cash back, and there's no catch. The cash gets added back into your account, and you can cash out anytime to either your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app. Use the promo code HOCKEY to get up to 50 cents per gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code HOCKEY for up to 50 cents a gallon back on your first tank of gas with Get Upside. So another player was affected, the decision not to play Gustafson. And Gustafson fighting for spot. And against the Devils, he would have been up against another team that was really playing a lot of NHLers. And that's important. So not being able to do that, got a PTO, and I think so far he is likely to get an offer from the. But could it keep him off the roster at the end of the day if he doesn't play on Saturday? Chance to play now because there was no game. It's a call. Gustafson can be hurt. Another player who definitely had by the game last night, Thomas Hickey. Hickey has a couple of strikes against him. One of them is obviously his contract. He is trying very much to prove that he has a chance to make this roster, even if it is as defenseman. I don't even. Plays. But this was very much close to an opening night roster. Barzal, Lee, and you had Barzal, Lee, and Palmieri as your first line. You had Nelson, Bailey, and you had the second line intact. You had Pajot as your third line center with Richard Panik out there as well. You know who wasn't in the lineup? Josh Bailey. Bailey was not scheduled to be in the lineup. Golishev in there instead. Ross Johnston in there and Panik out there. Those were the non-guaranteed a spot on the opening night roster forwards who were going to be out there. And then, you had Hickey, Green, Pulak, Dobson, Mayfield, Chara, and Gustafson scheduled to play for the defensemen. And opportunity absolutely lost for each of those players. So now you got to figure, come Saturday, Rangers at Bridgeport, we're going to see Sorokin play the entire game almost certainly. And then if we're going with 90% of the roster, maybe Gustafson is the only guy out there who would have a chance at playing. It's all coming down to this. This is the last chance that these players will have to make an impression on Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello before the season starts. And, keys for this game as we look ahead and preview it a little bit, don't want to get anybody injured. That's obviously the first thing. And I think the other thing you need to see, what we've seen from the Islanders in the preseason, is that they are already playing at a high level defensively. They are already doing a good job of limiting the opponent's chances for scoring, quality scoring chances. They are already doing well on the transition, getting the puck out of their zone. This team seems ready to go more than a lot of other teams. And I think part of that is this is the fourth year under Barry Trotz. Players know what's expected of them. Most of this roster are returning players, and that's a good sign. So, get the chemistry going. Get as many of your regulars on the ice as possible. Don't end up with any injuries. And while you're at it, let's face it, it is always good to beat the New York Rangers. It would be the perfect way to end the preseason. And you know what else? Let's face this. You want the opportunity to get a point in each of your preseason games. Islanders win or even just get a point, in overtime loss or a shootout loss. To go 4-0-1 or 3-0-2, to get points in each of those 5 games, that does mean something. And it should be a confidence booster for this Islanders team. I think this team looks pretty ready. They look like they're comfortable in the system, that they are determined, and that even without Semyon Varlamov, possibly, this team is ready for a season that they know they have a chance at true success in this upcoming season. That after going to the conference final twice, they know they have a chance to actually take that last couple of steps. And those 2 steps, that's getting to the Stanley Cup final, which they haven't done since 1984, and winning the Stanley Cup, which they haven't done since 1983. Now think about that for a minute. 1983. Ronald Reagan was president. We're talking about 39 years ago by the time this season is over. 2 generations of Islander fans who do not know, if you roughly estimate a generation is 20 years, 2 generations of Islander fans who do not know the feeling of having their team win a championship. We're going to have a lot more preview stuff on Monday's show as we count down the last week before the start of the regular season. But I'm telling you, I'm excited. I think this team has a real chance. And don't forget, please, the Friday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast is the Metropolitan Division preview. You'll see my preview of the Islander season. You'll see all the other teams in the division. Check that out because it really is a nice little look ahead at what this season has in store for all 8 teams in the Metropolitan Division, including, of course, your New York Islanders. So Locked On NHL for that, and there's one preview for each of the 4 divisions in the league. We've got more to talk about on today's show. We've got our Islanders birthday of the day and a lot more. Stay with us. More to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Do you know that Built Bar has so many delicious flavors? There really is something for everyone. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. And when you talk to a Built Bar fan, they are definitely passionate about their favorites. And it's easy to know why when you look at some of these flavors. German chocolate, salted caramel, which is my personal favorite, sweet and salty at the same time, can't beat it. Coconut, mint brownie, raspberry, cherry barcia. If you haven't tried all 9 of the permanent flavors, you can get a mix box. They'll send you 2 of each of the 9 flavors, and there are also some limited time flavors, which are very, very tasty. And not only are Built Bar flavors the best tasting, they're healthy too. Check out the macros. Every bar has between 17 and 18 grams of protein. Calories, just 130 to 180 per bar, depending on the flavor. Just 4 to 5 grams of sugar and only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. All amazing flavors, all tasty, all healthy. And Built Bar is the official protein bar of the U.S. track and field team. Go to Built.com right now. Use the promo code LOCK15. You'll get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by your friends at Bet Online. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back on the field for another football season. And as always, Bet Online is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, Bet Online continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's free money to bet with. 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use the promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From football, basketball, boxing, hockey, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. So remember, Bet Online, where the game starts. And once again, for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day, we are free and available on all platforms. Time for our Islanders birthday of the day. We are going to go back to players with the Islanders of the 2000s, former Islander center Jason Krog. He will turn 46 on Saturday. And Krog was spent 4 years at the University of New Hampshire, had back-to-back 30-goal seasons. His last 2 years, his junior and senior year, 33 goals in 97, 98, 34 goals in 85 points, and his 41 in 98, 99. Joined the Islanders for the 99-2000 season, played in 17 games, 6 points, and remained with the Islanders organization through 2001-2002, and played 2 full seasons for the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, as they were known then. Went to Europe for a couple of years, came back, was briefly with the Atlanta Thrashers and the Rangers and the Canucks before finishing up his career in Europe again. Jason Krog, 202 NHL games, 20 goals, 59 points, and 46 penalty minutes at 21 playoff games in the NHL. 3 goals, 1 assist there. But none of those playoff games were with the New York Islanders. We're going to go back to one of Jason Krog's games with the Islanders. An important game for him. The Islanders visiting Madison Square Garden to take on the New York Rangers. Islanders going with Kevin Weeks in net, while Mike Richter was in between the pipes for the Rangers. And it was the Rangers getting on the board first. Jan Hlavich, his 14th from Peter Nedved and Radek Dvorak at 7:37. That was the only goal of the first period. Islanders trailing 1-0. But in the second period, our Islanders' birthday of the day, Jason Krog gets his first of the season and his first NHL goal of his career. Jorgen Janssen and Mariusz Czerkowski, the assists at 4:18. Islanders and Rangers all even at 1 apiece. The Rangers retook the lead a little less than 3 minutes later. Again, the checkmates, Radek Dvorak, his 13th, Stefan Quintal and Jan Hlavich, the assist at 7:16. Islanders trailing 2-1. But a minute and 4 seconds later, Josh Green ties the game for the Islanders, his 9th. Jamie Heward and Jorgen Janssen with the assist at 8:20. It's all even at 2. And then Matthew Biron, his 4th from Jorgen Janssen and Mariusz Czerkowski at 16:20. Islanders up 3-2 after 40 minutes. And we head to the third period. A tough battle there. In the end, though, Claude Lapointe pots an empty netter, his 11th. Gino Ojic and Jamie Rivers with the assists at 19:16. The Islanders skate away with a 4-2 road win against the Rangers at the Garden. Kevin Weeks, 31 saves in this one. Islanders were outshot 33-30, but with the strong goaltending by Weeks, 3 assists by Jorgen Janssen, and the first career NHL goal for our Islanders' birthday of the day, Jason Krog. They end up with a 4-2 win. Krog, the 1 goal, a +1, 2 shots on goal. He was on ice for 11 minutes and 48 seconds. We have one preseason game left on the schedule. Definitely looking forward to that one. Also against the New York Rangers. And we'll be back on Monday with a with the beginning of a few of in-depth previews here of the Islanders' upcoming season. So thanks again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Host Scott Cullen leans on his decades of fantasy hockey insight and experience every day to help you be the expert of your fantasy league. It's free and available on all platforms. Have a great weekend, everybody. This should be a beautiful weekend weather-wise. Stay safe. Enjoy it. Enjoy that last preseason game. And, of course, let's go Islanders.